Yeah, he knows he's been found out. He's just trying to
Yeah.
kind of keep it going as long as he can.
Please subscribe. So, as far as the flat earthers that were down there with you, so Austin Whitsitt, Jeranism, were they always flat earthers, or were there times where it was like you were just chatting to them like you may chat to somebody you meet in a bar when you're on holiday or something? Or are they
Um,
always flat earthers and they've got that sort of barrier?
no, I don't think so. I mean, there was a lot of talk around that because that was really the one aspect, the one
Yeah,
topic that truly linked us all. So there was a lot of talk about it. But I mean, Jonathan and I, before going to Antarctica, we had 3 days in Punta Arenas, and then we had another 2 or 3 days there after Antarctica. And him and I, obviously, but he filmmaker and does photography as well. So do I. So we had that common ground between us. We were
yeah,
sharing a hotel room both times in Punta Arenas and shared a tent in Antarctica. So we were talking. We talked barely about flat Earth and a lot about just photography, life
yeah,
in general, and
yeah,
yeah, him and I had a lot of good just general conversations, and very rarely did
yeah,
the topic of flat Earth come up unless we were talking about. Um, I mean, he did talk at times about it, and he was on sort of sat with us with me and Toon when we were on his stream. He came on when I was streaming, sort of talking about it at times as well. But yeah, a lot of the conversations were just sort of more unrelated to flat
yeah.
Earth and more about kind of photography and that.
Yeah, because it's interesting to me how consumed by flat Earth people like Austin Whitsitt are. You know, is it the be all and end all for them? Is it all they talk about, or can you squeeze a relatively normal conversation out of them? But I guess it's like anyone else. It depends if if there's a common ground between you, it's gonna make it a lot easier to strike up a conversation, isn't it? So
Yeah, I mean, Lizbeth and I had a few conversations because she was struggling at times with a camera, so I was trying to help her with that at times. Um, I think it was after the midnight stream, and she started getting a lot of flack from people on the Clubhouse platform that she's on. A lot of them started giving her shit for basically accepting that there was a 24-hour sun. So
yeah,
she was kind of getting a bit upset about it. So I was chatting with her kind of about it, but not really about flat Earth per se, but more just sort of trying to reassure her that it's more a shock to their system, if you like. That I don't think she should take it a personal reaction. I think it was more just
yeah,
people not having need that kind of grief period, if you like, that they've just had this
yeah,
massive shock to their worldview kind of
yeah,
thing. So we had some conversations like that. Jaren and I had a lot of constructive conversations, mainly flat Earth related,
yeah.
but for the most part, Austin and I had only a few conversations. Pretty much all of them descended into debates about flat Earth.
Yeah,
But I think for them to, at least, because they've got such a big audience, and it's kind of quite publicized, and that was their main reason for going down, was for to go and see for their audience what actually happens. They seem to spend
yeah,
a lot of their time on like Discord and doing live streams trying to
right.
update their audience. So I think that was the
Yeah,
driving force for them.
yeah, yeah. Because it's a shame in a sense that they've fallen victim themselves now in a certain way of looking at it. To me, at least, anyway, because you know I sort of always had this idea in my head that whichever flat Earth has agreed to go, number one, in my opinion, that puts them over and above every flat earther who declined the invitation, like Dave Weiss and Nathan Oakley. At least they were willing to go. And I think it was a very easy prediction to make that when they went, if they said yes, the sun was definitely in the sky for 24 hours. I saw it with my own eyes. They must have known that their audience was going to either turn on them or start throwing accusations around like the ones we're hearing now, you know, Jaren was never really a flat earther, he was a plant, and, you know, that kind of thing, because Jaren has at least, well, as far as I've seen, he's been the only flat earther that attended that has said that it has made him rethink his position. Because isn't Austin just still doubling down?
Yeah, well, as far as I know, Austin's still on the flat Earth train, although he doesn't seem to be. I mean, he's running Globebusters now, which would make you think he's still arguing that the Earth is flat, but he doesn't seem to be. Everything else, it seems to be less flat Earth and more just shifting to other conspiracies, like I don't know, bloody whatever else he's going on about. But yeah, I think in regards to the flat, whichever flat earthers went down there, I think the likes of Dave Weiss and Oakley and Dubé rejecting it, there's only two reasons I think why they would reject it. And that is either because they know the result, what the result was going to be, so cowered away from going, or they were more scared of if they went and they accepted and they acknowledged that the 24-hour sun was there, that their audience would then turn on them.
Yeah.
So they were either knew that they were going to have to say there was a 24-hour sun, or they genuinely didn't know whether there was going to be a 24-hour sun. But if their audience turned on them, they would sort of lose their identity, if you like.
Yeah. Because Jeranism is a word that, you know, is associated with flat Earth. So without flat Earth, is he still Jeranism, or or does he, remove himself from that completely and then sort of figure out for himself what he's going to do moving forward? Because his channel's quite large, isn't it? Isn't it around 250,000 subscribers currently?
160.
Oh, is it?
364,000, I think.
All right, I thought he had over 200,000.
No,
so anyway, the point I was trying to make is that it's very difficult, which is why I say that Jeranism and even Whitsitt were, they showed a certain amount of courage by agreeing to go, because, like you say, they knew what the result was going to be, because it's the same every year, so it's predictable, and they knew that they were potentially risking their income, because they're both full-time content creators, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Jaren, I think probably I'd give more respect to Jaren, because he went knowing a 24-hour sun doesn't work on flat Earth, and he stuck to his guns. There's a 24-hour sun. Well, the Earth can't be flat, and not only that, he's completely pivoted now. That he's now out capturing Falcon rocket launches and sort of showing, actually sticking to his guns and going, no, look, the Earth can't be flat; it's got to be a globe. So he's gone very much like STST and Raichi did in that regards. That he's been true to himself. Whereas Austin kind of got the impression, like, I don't know, that he was maybe agreed to go only because he didn't want to be seen as a coward backing out.
Yeah. Do you think Dave Weiss and Eric Dubé realize that that's how they are now perceived?
I don't really know. I don't really know too much about Dubé, but I mean, I think Weiss knows full well. You can see how much he's scrambling to try and keep his app security, or lack of, kind of hide that from everybody. I think he knows full well. Yeah, he knows he's been found out. He's just trying to kind of keep it going as long as he can.
Going back to TFE, so Jaren has kind of accepted then that the fact that you did all witness the same 24-hour sun, says to him